So DLC, that's a thing these days, it seems to be everywhere, and the game you can see in the background, Dying Light, which I would recommend, has just released some DLC, and it's something we've sort of come to accept, this sort of DLC culture. And to a point, I can sort of understand it, go along with it and enjoy DLC if it represents value for money, but it gets to a level where it basically becomes exploitation of consumers and nothing more. You know, sort of see how much money we can get out of this. And what really triggered me to actually come back and make this video is something I saw a few weeks ago, and that was Ubisoft announcing DLC for The Division before it's even been released. And this isn't the first time it's done it, we've seen it with things like Battlefield, Battlefront, you know, basically the main offenders being EA and Ubisoft and a couple of others in between. And it worries me now that we've come to accept the fact that when we buy a game, we're not actually buying the full game, we're just buying what's now called the base game, and we accept that there's going to be extra stuff to buy further down the line. And like I said, I can sort of go along with this when it's not just a cash on, does add value to the game. For example, Dark Souls 2, which is one of my favourite games, originally was going to have no DLC. Whether or not that was just a marketing ploy, I'm not sure, but when we did get DLC, I think it was about half the price or less than half the price of the game for the season pass for 3 DLCs that more than doubled the length of the game, and were all high quality DLCs. You know, that's good value for money. And to take it a step further, I have not paid for a single piece of downloadable content for GTA 5. And it just goes to show if a game is successful enough that they can make enough revenue on the game alone without having to charge for DLC, although albeit GTA does have microtransactions which probably rakes in a little bit of money as well. But I can't help wondering why we accept this, why we've grown to sort of deal with the fact that we're paying full price for what is not a full product. I mean, imagine if this was in another industry, say, I don't know, you went to IKEA and you wanted a chair and you saw a pretty good looking chair and you thought, that's the chair for me, I'm going to buy that. So you shell out 60, 70, maybe up to £100 or the equivalent in your currency on this really good looking chair. And then when it gets delivered, all you've got are 2 arms for the chair and nothing else. You're then told that actually what you saw previously was the full chair, but they've only sold you the base chair. And if you want the rest of the chair, it's done in 4 instalments. Now you can pay an extra £20 for each instalment, or for a mere £50 you can have it all in one chair pass, and that's it, you get the full chair. People would lose their shit, wouldn't they? Same with a movie. Imagine if a movie comes out and you pay your £10, £15 or whatever it is in dollars or euros to go to the cinema. 30 minutes into the movie, they just cut it off, and so the rest of it is an extra instalment, and if you don't pay it, you've got to leave. You've got to hand your popcorn and drink to the person next to you and just fuck off. But the thing that really gets me is pre-order exclusives. So for example, you can have this with the game only if you pre-order it. If you don't pre-order it, then tough shit. Now that is the most disgusting exploitation of gamers, if you ask me, because they're basically asking you to buy their product before you know whether or not it's worth it. And I guess 10 years ago a pre-order was a safer investment because, well, I'd say more than 10 years ago now, basically before online gaming spread to consoles. So when a game came out, it was either good or bad, and there was no way to fix it. But why are we so impatient now that we have to have the game on day one? I would urge people not to do that. Don't pre-order, because let the guys on YouTube play the game first. You know, the guys that get the review copies, see what they say, see whether or not the game's in a good state, and then get it. They're trying to force these pre-orders because it's a way of them making the money before you've got a chance to find out whether or not the game is worth purchasing in the first place. And it all comes back to this whole what I would call the DLC culture, the fact that we're happy. Well, I don't know if we're happy or if we just laid down and just accepted it like the cheap whores we are, that we can just be taken for granted and they can just take as much money as they want from us. So I would urge people to sort of speak with their wallets. There's no point buying a game and then complaining about it after you've pre-ordered it. The companies don't care, they have your money. You've already bought the game. The easiest way to try and push people more towards the likes of the Rockstars and the Namco Bandais and the From Softwares is to speak with your wallet and only part with your money if you think you're getting good value for it. So yeah, that's what I think, and I'm going to cut it short here because I don't want to ramble on. This has been the first video in a while and I don't want to overdo it, but I would like to get your guys' opinions, so let me know what you think down below of the DLC culture. But in the meantime, take care of yourselves, and I hope to see you all very soon, but who knows.